So by now you've probably realised that you're not going to get through your electrical installation career without installing some kind of EV charge point, and some of the critical questions that are going around at the moment are how do we test it properly. We've got to carry out all the normal tests we would on an EV charge point, including your earth fault loop impedance. How do we get the charge point to power up so we can test it live without putting ourselves in danger? And also we've got to think about some of the specialised tests that are required for an EV charge point. So hopefully in this video we're going to answer some of those questions. So the first thing is, how do we plug in an EV without an EV?
Well, I brought my electrical vehicle with me, so the Metrel adapter mimics the fact that it is an EV, so in other words electrical vehicle, allowing us to do that earth fault loop impedance test that you described, as well as the RCD test. Now this is a very special piece of kit. You described sort of some of the features we're going to show in this video.
Absolutely, this is the Metrel MI3152, and this will carry out some specialised testing, including injecting 6 milliamps DC into the system. This is not so much a tester as it is a small computer. You can actually update the testing procedures on here via the internet. It's a very, very clever bit of kit, and we're going to show you some of the things that it's capable of today.
So just to the left of us, we've got our adapter connected to our EV charging point, and we're going to run through the functions of the 3152 in order to carry out the earth fault loop impedance and the RCD tests.
So some really nice features here. We can see that in the centre we've got this nice bright screen. We can access all of the functions via the physical buttons, as you expect on any kind of tester. However, we've actually got a touch screen here as well. So we could, if we wanted to, go into the single test menu and have a look at the individual tests that we'd want to be carrying out there. You can see that they're all present. However, what's also really clever is that inside the MI3152 you've got this auto sequences function. So that's a setup of preset tests that we can carry out in order to do particular things. So if we go into that menu there, you can see that we've got these 3 folders set up. We're looking at an EV charging system, so we're going to select that folder, and we're looking at a single phase system, so we'll open that folder up. And then if we scroll down there, you can see that we've got all of these different options. We're using an unventilated charger, so there's no fan cooling inside there, and we're going to do the trip settings there. Now another really clever feature of this tester is it can actually check your values and verify them against preset values in the regs. We can change what we're testing against by pressing this menu button, and if we go into there you can see we've got this list down the left hand side of the different tests that are going to be carried out. If we look at our Z auto test, so this is when we test our earth fault loop impedance, you can see we've got all of the different settings that it's going to be verifying against. So it's a TN system, we've got a B-type MCB, and you can see here that the fuse size that's set as a kind of preliminary value is 10 amps. Now we want to change that, so if we press the menu button again, we go into here, and now you see I've got the fuse size 10 amps. I can now change that to a 32 amp fuse size, so that's a 32 amp circuit breaker, and that is what we've got connected to our EV charging system. So when this does an earth fault loop impedance test, it will verify the result against the reg value maximum earth fault loop impedance for that particular circuit breaker. So if we now come back out of there, you can see that that is now logged as a 32 amp, and we can go into our test menu and begin the testing procedure. So once we've selected the correct auto sequence test that we want to carry out, we then press the little play button on the touchscreen there, which takes us into this menu. Now what's really lovely about this is it's actually giving you a pre-test checklist, if you like, of things just to go through. So it says plug EV adapter into the charging station. We've already got that plugged in, so that's great. And then it tells us where to set our PP state knob to. So here the PP state knob is going to be set to 32 amps. So that's just the amount of current that we would expect this to draw as a maximum. That's what we've allowed it in the installation. We're then told to set our CP state knob to ABCE position. So as we go through this test, we're going to be changing between ABCE on the CP state knob, and that's going to basically put the EV into different modes. So for example, A means that there is no EV plugged in, B means there's an EV plugged in but it's not charging, and so on and so forth. So we'll make sure that that's all working as it should be before we start the testing procedure. So once we're happy that we understand what these instructions are telling us, we can then move on to our next screen by pressing the little fast forward button there. So here we've got a checklist to make sure that the CP state knob performs the function that it should do. So you can see here, first of all, we should have our EV adapter set to A, and that means that the EV is basically not connected. So we're happy the charger sees an EV disconnected there, so that means that we can select that little box and we can put a tick inside there just to show that we've checked that. We then turn the CP state knob to position B. Now what that means is that there is an EV plugged in, however it's not charging. So again, when we look at the charger, we can see there that it's waiting for the EV, so it knows it's there, but it doesn't need charging at the moment. So we can select that box and give it a little tick. Next on the list, change the knob to position C. So we'll go to position C, and now that mimics the EV as if it was actually charging. So the charger's now gone into charge mode, it's connected up, and if there was an EV plugged in, then it would start to funnel current into that. So we can now give that box a tick as well. And then finally we put it into pilot error, which means there is some kind of problem with the charging process. Again, it's mimicking an issue with the EV as if there was something preventing it from charging. And we can see there that the charger has gone into pilot problem mode. So we can give that a tick as well, because it means the communications are happening as they should be. We've got our PP state knob set to the correct value, so we can give that a little tick there, and that is that page completed. So now we're happy with our checklist, we press the little stop button, and again that will take us to our next position. So the instructions are as follows: set the CP state knob to the C position, so we turn that to there, insert the test plug into the EV adapter test socket, so we're going to put our plug here into the test socket. So that goes in there. There's also the option here that we could use banana sockets if we wanted to, and just single core leads. However, in this case, we're using the plug adapter. So we've got it set up, ready to test. We're in the right position, we've got it plugged in. We'll move on to the voltage test now. So we move on to the voltage test by pressing the fast forward button again. That takes us to the next stage, and now we're in a position to test the voltages. So you can see as it stands, it's not doing anything at all, it's just waiting for the instruction. And at this point, if we press this button here, which is the run button, and you can tell that because it's got a picture of a running person on it, it's going to test the voltages between line and neutral. It's also going to test the voltages between line and PE for protective earth. We know in this case that's the CPC connection. So if we press the run button, and there's our voltages. We've got 243 volts between line and neutral, and 243 volts between line and CPC. It's also checking our frequency for us, which is just below the 50 Hertz, but well within the tolerance that we're allowed. And also, if we have a little look down here, what's quite a nice little feature is it shows you between line and CPC the voltage there, and it also shows you between line and neutral, just in case you've kind of had a bit of a mental blank and you can't remember what LN and LPE are. So once we're happy that we've got the right values there, and indeed we have in this position because we're well within the tolerances of the UK voltage system, we press the stop button. That will complete that test, and it moves us on to the earth fault loop impedance test. So now we're ready to carry out the earth fault loop impedance test. You can see down here at the bottom of the screen, there's the information that we programmed in at the start of the sequence. We've got our 32 amp type B circuit breaker protecting it. So when the test is carried out, it will verify against the values from the regs for that type of circuit breaker. So once again, we press the run button to carry out the test. Now what you'll notice in this case is it moves on from this screen quite quickly and takes us to the next stage, but we can always re-access that information if we want a closer look at it a little bit later on. So we'll press the run button and it'll carry out the test. So there we see the values were taken. It moved on quite quickly. It was also testing the prospective fault current that would flow as well, which is quite handy to know for verifying results. So now we'll move on to start testing the RCD. If we press the little fast forward button there, it takes us to the next stage of the testing, and this is an auto test that's going to be carried out. So it's just going to start testing pretty much straight away. Obviously this would be really helpful if the resetting function of the RCD was some distance away from the point you were testing. You wouldn't have to keep coming backwards and forwards between the test point and the RCD tripping. They're right next to each other here, so we don't have that inconvenience. So it's injected 6 milliamps into the system, and you can see that it's tripped within 3.13 seconds. So the device inside the EV charging point that monitors the flow of DC current back into the system again will disconnect if more than 6 milliamps starts to flow. As always, we've got two columns here, so you can see we're going to be testing in the positive part of the cycle, and then we're going to repeat the test in the negative part of the cycle. So for this to function properly, it's as if we now need to disconnect the electric vehicle. So we need to change our CP state knob back to A again, So that goes back to A as if we've disconnected the electric vehicle, and then we'll need to reset the EV charging device because a protective device in there has disconnected. Now that we've reset the EV charge point, we go back to position C as if the EV was charging again, and the Metrel MI3152 will now carry out the same test in the negative part of the cycle. So 6 milliamps of DC current goes in, the protective device inside the charger disconnects, and it's disconnected within a time of 3.11 seconds. So once again, CP state knob back to A as if we've disconnected the electric vehicle, reset the EV charge point, in other words, reset the protective device. And we're now in a position where we can move on to the next test. So the next test is just your regular RCD test. So it's going to inject 30 milliamps of current into the system. So it's going to mimic an earth fault of 30 milliamps, and it's going to see if the RCD disconnects within the required time. So we change the CP state knob back to C as if the EV is charging, and the Metrel tester will now carry out your standard 30 milliamp RCD test, and you can see that the RCD has tripped within 145.7 milliseconds within our EV charger. And now it's just a matter of repeating the process. So we go back to position A on our CP state knob, reset the EV charge point, and with the charge point reset now, we go back to position C with our CP state knob. It mimics the EV charging up again, and the tester will now test the negative part of the cycle at 30 milliamps. And we can see there we've tripped in 140.1 milliseconds. So back to CP state A, EV disconnected, reset the charge point. And with the EV charge point reset, we go back to CP state C, and the Metrel MI3152 will now carry out the ×5 test. So 150 milliamps of current has been injected into the system. A fault has been created that has sent 150 milliamps down CPC, and we can see there that we've got 24.5 milliseconds. So you can see that's tripped a lot quicker than the previous time. Go back to CP state A on the position, and then reset the charge point. And the CP state knob goes back to position C, and the 5 times test will be carried out in the negative part of the cycle. Sometimes on some testers you'll see this labelled as 0 and 180 degrees. It means the same thing in this instance. So it's tripped again within 24.5 milliseconds. So we're going to go back to CP state A, we're going to reset the charge point, now this time when we go back to CP state C, as if the EV is reconnected, the tester is going to do the half times test. So that's going to just mimic a fault of 15 milliamps, and the device should not operate. So this is just proving that the device isn't oversensitive and it's not going to lead to any kind of nuisance tripping. So we can see on the screen there that the half-time test was successful. The RCD did not operate. It went above 300 milliseconds without disconnecting. And what's happened now is that the Metrel MI3152 has done a ramp test on the RCD. So it has basically increased the amount of fault that it's mimicking and seeing how much current it takes to actually trip the RCD device inside the charge unit. And you can see there that it's tripping out at 19.5 milliamps in the positive part of the cycle. So back to normal, we go back to our CP state A, and then we reset our charge device. Once we've reset, back to position C, mimicking the EV charging, the ramp test in the negative part of the cycle will be carried out. And again, that's tripped within 19.5 milliamps of mimicked fault. So there we go, it's consistent in both parts of the cycle. Now, back to position A and reset the charger. Now this time when we go back to CP state C, when we reconnect the supply here, We're going to carry out another test that you might not have seen before. So here we're going to do a ramp test on the DC current. So this is going to inject increasing amounts of DC current back into the system and see how much of that DC current it takes to trigger the device. So at what value will it trip off at? So we'll go back to position C. And you can see there that it is tripped when exactly 6 milliamps flows. So that's really reassuring to know. So back to CP state position A, because the device is tripped again. Reset the charge device. And with the EV charge point reset, back to position C to mimic the charging of the EV. And the Metrel MI3152 will now carry out a DC ramp test in the negative part of the cycle. So there we go, we've passed all of those tests with flying colours, everything is within the normal parameters, and we've been given a big tick for the values there. So with all the tests carried out, we may well want to go back and access the results that we've just taken. So there's a few options here. We can press the button here, which shows us what our functional tests look like, and then we can move on, we can look at the next stage of the testing. If we go back, it takes us back to this screen. If we now press the voltage button, it shows us what our voltage values were, and this earth fault loop impedance page, which we skipped past pretty quickly earlier, you can see there that we've got our impedance value between line and protective earth, which is what we'd normally think of as our earth fault loop impedance value. This has been verified internally against the values from the regs, but if you're like me, you'll probably just want to go to your regs book and just double check that anyway to make sure that you're perfectly happy with that. Going back again, we can come out of there, we can have a look at our RCD tests and see what all of those values were. Coming back to this menu, there's other options that we could explore from here. We could look at saving the values and then exporting them. What we can also do is have a look at what happens when we press this little play button. You can see there that that takes us right back to the very start of the testing procedure. If we had several EV charge points to test on, say, a commercial installation, then that would be super helpful to get back to this position and we could move on and test the next charge point. Another really nice feature on the Metrel MI3152 is this little button here with a question mark on. Of course, when we're doing our testing, we pretty much know what we're doing, but it may be if we're doing a test that we don't do all the time, or it might be slightly unfamiliar to us, we might have a little bit of trouble remembering exactly how to carry the test out. If you press this little question mark button, it takes you to an on-screen help menu that shows you exactly how to connect your probes up. Now when you press that button, it takes you into the help menu, so you can see here we're on page 1 of 48, so there's 48 of these little screens to help us through our testing, and this one is demonstrating how we would test the voltage. So we've got two screens that are going to help us to understand that. This is voltage 1 of 2. If we press the little sideways button there, we go to voltage 2 of 2, and if we keep scrolling through, we can see there that we've got help and guidance on how to connect our probes up for insulation resistance and other tests that get carried out as well, such as continuity of CPC, etc. So this is a super helpful little guide, and again, perhaps if you're an apprentice and you're carrying out some testing, or if you're carrying out a test that you don't carry out all the time or is a little bit unfamiliar to you, this is a really helpful way of just having a quick look at the system to see how to carry those tests out.
I think we all, including myself, got to see the benefits of using a Metrel 3152 in order to carry out those tests on an EV charging point.
Absolutely, and do you know what? We've only just begun to scratch the surface of what this tester is capable of. It's got some absolutely fantastic features, and hopefully we'll be able to explore some of those in a future video.